2 weeks later, it was August 1942, they decided to liquidate the ghetto. There was about 1,400 people in the ghetto at that time, out of 5,000, and they told us to assemble in the square, and they marched us to the church. The church was, that particular church was run by nuns. It was a very, very small church. They pushed in 4,000 people in that church without water, without any food, without any toilet facilities. Imagine 4,000 people in a place with any toilet facilities. They told us to come out from the church, and there were 2 SS officers, and they looked you over and asked you your profession. I told them I was a tailor. I couldn't thread a needle, but I thought, if I can do something, they'll take me. He told me to go with my mother and my whole family back into the church. They picked out about 150 people in the square outside, and I was sure those people will get a job, they'll be working. What on earth are they going to do with the rest of us? Anyway, it was a very hot day. I asked my mother to give me a utensil. I wanted to go for some water to the gate, and I did. The SS man shouted at me, the officer, "What's your profession?" I told him I was a tailor. Once again, a tailor. He told me to run out, join the 150 people, and we were taken to lodge, ghetto, and all the 3,000, how many, were taken to Chelmno, and they were gassed, and then buried into mass graves. And if you go to Chelmno today, it's cut out in a forest. 320,000 people they murdered there. And there is 3 mass graves, about a quarter of a mile each grave. And then they also brought children from Lidice, from Czechoslovakia, in a village. Those weren't Jewish people, those were Christian people. They brought about 100 children, and they gassed them there as well, because they shot a high-ranking SS officer in Czechoslovakia. The parents did. So the whole village was eliminated. And we got to lodge, and I was with the people, and then there was a situation. They demanded 10,000 children, the Germans, up to the age of 14. And I was in the category, and I was in that house with the people from my town, with 150 people. Nobody was allowed to go out in the street, or everybody had to be in the houses. And the president of the ghetto asked the parents to hand over the 10,000 children, and nobody did. So the SS came in and went house by house, and the children being found hiding were shot. Eventually the SS got the 10,000 children. I got across into the cemetery, and I was hiding behind a tombstone praying to God, let them not find me. I came back afterwards, and the people said, we thought you were taken as well, but I wasn't. The closing of the ghetto was finished, because they had the 10,000 children. They took them to Chelmno and gassed them and buried them in mass graves. And plenty other more people as well. Then I came back to the building, and I didn't know what to do. I was on my own. I had no, the older people didn't have time for me, so I went out in the street, sat on the corner, and I started crying. I didn't know what to do. And a lady passed by and she says, "Why are you crying?" And I told her my situation. She says, "Come on, you live with me and my daughter. I've got a daughter." And I went, and it wasn't the best thing for me. Eventually I met a boy who was in the orphanage, and he said, "I was taken in the orphanage and it's got a better life there. You work, but you get better food and so on." So I went and I was accepted. And I worked in a textile mill. And for food we got a ration of soup, lunchtime. And she was working for the fire brigade, this lady. And she was doing cooking. And so the fire brigade got better food than us. So from time to time I used to go up to the thing and she used to give me a bit extra food. So it was okay to a certain extent. And then when I left her house, I went to the orphanage, and then I soon managed to get in with other children and so on. And then there was a girl I met, her name was Genya, and she was my first love. She was nice, and she had a brother as well. Her parents died in the ghetto.